Welcome everyone to the stream. Um, for those of you who were following last time, apologies for the random ending. Had a storm on my end and lost power, so ended pretty abruptly. And that last week we did not have session because of reasons. But we're here
Are we
tonight.
just making excuses now?
Always, dude, that's my job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who wants to double check that everything's working? Do we have a volunteer? I know it's really clunky, but I'm just gonna do this the next couple weeks just to make sure.
I would check, but I'm busy finishing up dishes so I can get snoo snoo later.
We are
I already
streaming.
got my snooze too.
Okay, I will check on Twitch.
My snooze too.
Okay, I will check on Twitch. Okay, we're good. All right, so just a quick recap. Last time, Prince and Hestia and Jasper all went to try and get inside Alexander Cohen's building, and Jasper assisted in dolling up Hestia and making her look like the queen. There was actually a conversation that happened as everyone kind of came to a discussion and a realization that Caliston was undead and had been created by the Lich, and found out that he had an object kept within his body that was allowing the Lich to spy on them pretty much for time immemorial as far as the party's concerned, ever since they got together. And they dealt with that issue, thankfully. And then Jasper, Hestia, and Prince went to Alexander Cohen, and Prince smooshed his way in along with Hestia as the queen to try and get an angle. However, Jasper was not able to join them. So the rest of the party was going to attempt to go in through the back door of the catacombs beneath the city to potentially try and get at what's it called? To get at the underside or some other entrance to Alexander Cohen's abode. Anything I'm missing that someone would like to add?
I left a great comment in his comment section of his museum.
Yes, you did. Would you like me to read that for everyone else?
Sure, if you wanted.
Okay. So this this is what Sin left as a comment. The illustrious Alexander Cohen, it was my great pleasure to peruse your display of truth and art. Never have I been so enraptured by history, and I am truly stunned by the lengths you have gone for accuracy. I must say that it is far from perfect. I hope that when I return, it can truly be something that would end up the standard of a master corpse crafter. Sincerely, an honest admirer. So,
Wait, are we gonna run into some problems
That
with
is
this?
that is the best subtle diss ever. My gosh. Yes.
but it is a subtle diss. But do we have to worry about Sin betraying us as we go against this guy?
I don't think that's the concern. It's more just is your plan of smooshing him over gonna work with Sin's clear antagonism towards him? Good luck.
Well, there's only so long that Prince can keep Hestia's soul intact. So keep that in mind.
all right. So, Sin, Maleth, and Calistan, you have the task of finding and entering the catacombs. Yet here you are in Fort Frolic as your companions enter into Alexander's home. Or I guess you probably left before that, but either way, what do you do?
Sorry, my daughter just peed the bed. What happened?
Oh, okay. What are you guys doing? You three that are going after the catacombs. If you don't have an answer, we can just go back to Prince and see how long he can stall with Hestia.
So, I mean, tell us a little bit about the catacombs as we're going through it. Like,
You have. Where are the catacombs?
wait, say that one more time.
Where are the catacombs? You found out that there
Oh.
were catacombs beneath the city, but you have not found out how to get to them or where the entrance is.
That's fair.
Perhaps it was a flaw in your plan. You didn't verify the catacombs before we
I mean,
sent.
we wouldn't have let them go ahead if we didn't know where the catacombs were.
I think
thought
that's
that
fair.
We did know where they were.
You know that they were beneath the city, but you have not yet identified. We can call that a backtrack and go before they've entered and assume that you guys are able to find them. But I would like to know how you go about finding the catacombs,
That's fair.
because I think it's a fair
I
statement.
can't-
You would have verified their existence and how to get in before you sent Jasper and Prince and Hestia there. So
We will find the local undertaker. Good Lord knows, he's going to be easy to find nowadays.
okay, give me a diplomacy check.
I was about to ask if I could find somebody and try to schmooze my way into like talking to them and find a way if I could, convince them to tell me where it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And let me know if you want to roleplay this or just do it quickly and expedited.
I think all of us are eager to get into like a fight with Cohen.
'Kay,
And so
so
okay
I'm
if we
gonna
it.
expedite
Generally,
this.
I would love to actually roleplay it, but
Sure.
yeah.
So as you ask around, the thing that becomes immediately evident to you is very few people even know that there are catacombs beneath the city, and no one that you talk to knows where they are or how to get into them. You do gather enough talking to those people, though, that you can confirm what Charlemagne had told you, that there are indeed catacombs beneath the city. You just don't know how to get to them. From what it sounds like, the fort itself and the catacombs as they were used never coexisted. The catacombs were completely out of use before this became a military fort, before it even became a city. It was really just kind of a smaller estate or something like that, something that wasn't in wide use when it was being used more as a catacombs.
I have an idea. I would like to find a place that is relatively like close to the city, but is not what's the word? Is not really visible. I want to basically find a good place to hide.
Within
So
the
if I could
walls or
find-
without the walls?
I would say just outside the walls.
'Kay.
Like if there's a place that would be relatively easy that I could set up without any prying eyes.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
I'm gonna. So I'm going to cast Stone Shape, and I'm basically going to burrow a hole downward and try basically my best to basically make my own hole there. I know it's a really weird way to use the spell, but that's what my first thought was. I can do up to 20 feet downward.
So here's the concern. Oh, okay. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, 20 feet. Yeah, okay. So if you do 20 feet downward, it is only going to be 1 foot across. Or, yeah. No. Here's what I'm going to say.
Because it's 10 cubic feet.
It's
plus
10
1
cubic feet,
per
but it
level.
doesn't have to be. You don't have to do it in one by one by one, you could do very thin. So pretty much like a pinhole to try and find where it is.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and with that, you'd be able to go deeper than 20 feet and maybe snake down in a few different ways.
Okay.
So, getting close to the walls of the city, you would send down kind of a spider web of holes to kind of see which one leads to something. And if you're on the edge of the city, you would be able to, with that casting of the spell, find an access point. In order to actually widen it enough so that you could get there, you'll have to dig to some extent. But based on the feedback that you got from the spell, you'd say probably about 15 to 20 feet down is where the catacombs were, and you're able to find one patch, or at least something beneath you near the edge of the city.
Okay.
Do you have another casting of the spell to actually widen that, or will you need to use more mundane means to
We
dig?
probably would need to. Yeah, I only prepared one use of that today, so
You've
we'd
got
have to
some
use separate
skeletons.
means. But I also have a bunch of skelly bros that could help with that.
Okay. So it'll take them a little bit of time, but your skeletons are able to dig, and again, like Parley said, we can assume that this all happened well before you put your plan into motion. You secured access to the catacombs, and you're able to confirm as you go down that it does look to be the catacombs. It is connected. How exactly you're going to get to Alexander's place, even if it is connected, that remains to be seen, but you are able to get down into the catacombs.
Okay.
Do you seal it up behind you? Or do you leave the
Yeah.
access point?
I'd actually turn to Calistan. I'm like, I can get us back out in about a day if I seal it behind us. I can seal it behind us pretty easily. It just depends on. Basically, I can seal it to prevent anyone from either following us or knowing where we were here, but it means we're committing fully to what we're doing.
Why don't you just seal the very entrance, and then seal our exit here, so you only have to stone shape a tiny amount. We can just mark this place and remember it. Then it's just a sprint back through.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Wall of Stone.
Okay.
And basically create a stone wall where that would be.
How thick do you want it to be? Are you able to choose the thickness?
I believe so. Let me just double check. I am. It's 5 foot square per level.
Nope. 1 inch thick per 4 caster levels. I'm gonna say. Oh, and it says you can double the area by having its thickness. I'm gonna say you can probably make it as thin as you want in this situation. So enough that someone could stand on it and not realize that there's something beneath it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I commit this spot to memory as best as I can to remember where it is.
Duly noted.
Maybe I place like a small rock to the side of it or something.
Just a small pile of rocks like what you see on trails.
No, just a rock.
Okay.
Don't want to make anything obvious here. Just the rock, and I try to remember this spot as best as I can.
Okay. All right. So, as you are now within the catacombs, around you, you see. Actually, let's see. The three of you, Calistan, do you have night or dark vision? I forget.
Yeah.
Sin and Maleth. What about you?
I do as well.
Okay.
I think I have low light vision, but let me double check.
Okay.
I want to say it's low light vision. Did I even have it written down? I think it's low light. I don't see it written down, but I think I looked up Dampier's recently and it was low light.
You have dark vision.
Oh,
okay, so you all have dark vision. I'm going to assume that you don't need any sort of light source if you don't want.
we've healed since the last battle, right? I thought
Yes, you've
so, but-
rested.
Okay.
So you should be at full health. Hestia would have been able to heal you, and Sin as well. Before sleeping. Okay. So you've got vision. You're down here. As you look around, the entire area is very dank and musty. It is covered in dust. There's crypts all over the place. There's nothing in particular that stands out to you right here. Can I have one of you make a survival check to keep your bearings as you're navigating? Or is there anything in particular you're doing to make sure that you're knowing which direction you're going?
If anyone's particularly skilled in survival, I can assist. Or
I
I
have
can
a
attempt to lead the way.
I have a decent survival. I'll go ahead and do the survival check.
Okay.
Ugh.
Okay. I'm just gonna stick with that. Parley, you got a nat 20. So as you're going through, you're able to, as you came down, you kept track of which direction you needed to go towards Cohen's, and pretty much as you're gonna go into every room, you're just gonna make some note or marking on the room to show you which way is north, so that you can constantly know we're heading, southwest, for example, and you're just marking that in every single room that you get to, so that if you have to backtrack at all, you're able to keep track of where you're at and which direction you're needing to go.
Okay.
And so with that check, I'm just going to assume you guys are able to keep your bearings the entire time that you're in here.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let me pull up my notes. All right. So as you are moving through, what is going to be your tactic as you are making your way through the catacombs towards Alexander's sanctum?
I'm going to probably be trying to keep my eyes open up for anything weird. I'm also looking specifically for anything that is, for lack of a better word, new, or where stuff has been, obviously disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking essentially for how frequently he's used certain areas, and then I'd also essentially I would like to with perception look for anything that would be potentially not either both a trap or be undead like that is that he might have set up here.
Is there any magic you're going to be using as you go through?
Besides the spells I've already sent you, I don't think I will cast any spells right now. Let me just double check if there's anything that I want to cast yet. No, I don't think there's anything I want to cast just yet before we go. So.
Okay. As you're moving through, give me a perception check. That's what I forgot to ask.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of us or just him?
All of you. Let's go with that. And then Maleth, is there anything in particular
bad today?
you were looking
Yikes.
for?
This is the worst I've rolled in a while.
Maleth and Callison, is there anything in particular you guys are looking for as you're going through?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
All I would really be keeping an eye out for is if there is, I don't know, any potential enemies down here.
Okay. As you begin moving through, the thing that sticks out to all of you is that there is such a thick layer of dust that if you had to guess, as you were probably the first people to enter down here, possibly even in a century, at least in the areas that you have been thus far. There comes a point, however, where you hear a little bit of motion, and one of the rooms looks to have less dust, and you see why relatively quickly. as you enter the room, you hear motion. You look to the side, and there are many. Oh gosh, sorry. There are many bodies that appear to be all tangled together in this mass of limbs and bodies, torsos, legs, everything. And the entire thing, as you look at it, is this weird monstrosity. It looks to be just jumbled together, fused at weird places. It looks to be so convoluted that you can't even understand how it could move. Though move it does, or at least squirm, as this mass of limbs and body parts is kind of just flopping and rolling around in this room.
Does it
I
appear
cast-
cognizant of anything going on, or is it kind of just seem, I don't know, like it's just existing,
It
but unaware of
it
its surroundings or
seems
purpose?
to some extent to be aware that you are there, because it does make an attempt to move towards you as you enter the vicinity. But the way that it moves and the way that it's rolling around, it appears to be no threat to you.
I cast Detect Elden Ring.
I assume
Sorry,
there's a
big sigh.
boss or a creature in Elden Ring, but This-
Stop it.
this thing is. When I
Would I
say it is
ha-
no threat to you, like, you're surprised it's even able to move, and it's not moving effectively. But really, it's kind of this, not even a ball, it's like this jumble, this mound of just zombie body thing. Rotting and blech. And
Would I
that's
be
it.
able to do a knowledge? I guess maybe it would be more knowledge arcana, which I'm not good at. Actually, can I do a heal check? I want to see, I want to pick apart how it was created.
So I'm
and
not
get a
going to need.
sense.
You don't need to make a check for this. You have enough
Mhm.
understanding about undead that you can tell that really what was done here was an attempt to animate many bodies all together to create something bigger or stronger or just of a different shape that has gone horribly wrong. This is
So-
just. This is the sort of thing that if you had a novice necromancer trying to do something like a weird flesh golem or something like that, this is the sort of thing that they would create in their infant stages when they have no idea what they're doing.
Can I detect how old it is? Basically, I want to see if this is basically Koa's work, if it is basically Koa's early work, or if this is the work of someone else completely.
So as far as just looking at it, you wouldn't be able to tell necessarily how old or how long it's been here like this. But what you can tell is that the dates on the sarcophagi and the places elsewhere to put a body in here, like the shelves. I don't know what those would be called in a catacombs, but the shelves where you'd have some bodies. The dates there are 2 to 3 centuries ago.
Okay.
Whether or not that's related to how long ago this happened, you're not sure, but the dust in the surrounding rooms probably hasn't been disturbed in at least a century, by your best guess.
This is gonna be weird. I want to cast Command Undead. Oh, not cast Command Undead, but use what's called my channel.
Yeah. To gain
do
control of it.
Command Undead on him, and basically my intent is to try to control it, and
Yep.
then maybe let it die, essentially.
Okay. As
But, I
you
mean, that
gain
might be too much of
control,
it.
as you gain control over it, go ahead and give me a. You don't normally make a check with your channel energy, do you?
Normally, it is they do a. It's
Give me a
DC,
just give me a
it's an
percent.
intelligence check.
Give me a percentage
Just perception.
roll. Yeah, no percentage
Perc-
roll.
Percentile. Okay.
Yeah. So as you assert control over this, you can tell very quickly you're not having to wrest control over Cohen or anyone else. This thing has kind of been left alone, and it doesn't really. Most of the undead that you have dealt with have some level of. Let me put it this way. You know how when you grab an apple and you try, have you ever tried to pull apart an apple?
No, actually, I
It's really cool. It wants to break in a certain way, but like you can actually break it into clean halves. Something you should totally look up later. But the point is when you do that, you have to grip it just right because the apple doesn't want to break, but when it does break, it breaks in a specific way if you do it right. And generally, when you have undead that you deal with, they have, in the same way that the apple wants to stay together as an apple, the undead that you deal with want to continue existing. They want to stay together. There's natural forces and order that's keeping them in a specific shape. So this thing, as you assert control of it, it's like you go to kind of get your palms over the apple to snap it open, and it's like you grab it and it's just this rotten, oozing, gushing apple that as you grab it, it kind of just mushes and oozes out between your fingers. Where every other undead that you have dealt with has some natural, energetic desire to stay cohesive, this does not. It's almost trying to cease to exist on its own. Ineffectually. But it's where a regular undead, where Wrath is a crisp, ready, and ripe apple, this is a rotten, oozing mush. You are go ahead and make a will save.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are, with the use of this channel energy, you're able to assert control and effectively sap the necromantic energies that are holding this thing together. And with a death groan, this pile of bodies just ceases to move, and after a moment crumbles to dust before your eyes.
Well done.
He was in pain. I don't like things that don't. When I bring someone back, it's because they want to. This thing, it didn't want to exist anymore. At least not in this condition.
Glad you were able to put them to rest. Who knows how long they've been down here.
Agreed. Let's continue. Hestia.
Right.
Her life may be in danger.
Okay. As you continue, the dust is still very heavy. However, as you move through, while the dust has probably still been here for decades, if not over a century, you're finding more and more disturbed tombs and sarcophagi as you move closer to the center of the city. In fact, you also find several plaques that have been made in a similar style to those used by Alexander in many of his exhibits. Some of them are half-made and then discarded. Others detail notable figures and their exploits. As you continue through, there is one room that you enter where you hear something moving. And as you look to the side, you see a pile of bones, probably about 3 or 4 feet tall, making kind of a pyramid shape just as things have settled down. And it shifts slightly as you get near it, and then it stops moving.
New company.
Do you do anything?
What did you say, Taggart?
This pile of bones is kind of just off to the side in one of the rooms. As you enter the room, you hear and see it kind of shift a little bit, a few, bones cluttered down, and then it stops moving again. Do you do
Well,
anything?
Has it noticed us, or it basically as soon as
Well,
we came in,
you don't know
it
necessarily. It's just a pile of bones, so there's not necessarily anything to see if it's noticed you. The pile shifted slightly as you entered the room, and then it stopped.
okay. Can I do a perception check to see if there's anything inside it?
Are you going to
Or
get
if it-
close to it and touch it, or you just from a distance?
I'll send Wrath to go take a basically to go touch it, and I'll see what the reaction is.
Okay. As Wrath, ooh, actually, okay. As Wrath pushes on the pile, kind of sticks his hand in and pulls it to the side, the pile explodes into motion as a swarm of skeletal hands rushes out of it, moving directly towards you and Maleth and Caliston. They ignore Wrath.
Would Wrath get an attack of opportunity?
I would say no, because this is very much a surprise to him.
Okay, that's right. Well,
Go ahead and
Oh,
roll
what?
initiative.
Okay.
And yeah, go ahead and roll initiative. Everybody.
My poor luck continues.
Okay, Maleth, you are going first. So this pile of hands, probably about a dozen hands, is just rushing towards you. Moving forward on their fingers, coming right towards you as a group.
A dozen hands, you said.
Yes, just skeletal hands.
Well, that's unfortunate. Hmm. How close are they?
20 feet, 10 feet, something like that.
Okay, can I use Fire Snake to try to hit most of them?
Yes.
Okay,
Don't even
that's
bother
what I was
rolling. With Fire Snake, you cast it and you're able to move it around in such a way that the entire swarm of hands is evaporated. Just totally disintegrated. Gotta hand it to you. I did not see that coming. You just white knuckled through it and gave a nice pointed reaction, and here
You've
we
got
are.
to hand it to her.
Yeah. There's something she did that was just perfect. I can't quite put my finger on it, but yeah. Okay, yeah. So
Oh, baby.
you
I'm
stretch
sorry.
forth your hand, Maleth, and just as fire erupts from you, it just snakes around and dusts everything between you and Wrath. the entire pile of, and you're even able to get the entire pile of bones just to be sure. And there's
Sweet.
nothing left moving.
Chador's like, I need to learn how to do that trick.
Okay. All right. As you continue moving through, after a little bit, so you're starting to see more and more in the way of things that Alexander has created, stuff more like what you've seen at some of his exhibits. I'm not going to detail them because they don't react to you unless you want to stop and look at any of them in particular. There's really nothing of note. It all seems to be people that, names you've never heard of, but just you can see more and more sophisticated forms of undead that sort of culminates in, as you get to one area, you can hear the scraping of bone and the patting of feet as you enter one room, and you see a zombie and a skeleton that are dancing. The skeleton is missing an arm, however, it appears to be moving as if it had that arm stretched out, holding the zombie as if it were a dance partner.
Aw, it's so cute.
Caliston, can you give me a knowledge check? Knowledge history. Or knowledge local, if you have it.
There you go.
Okay.
So we've just taken a 10.
A 10 wouldn't have been sufficient on this, but yeah. So...
Would have been less embarrassing.
Maybe. Yeah, there's nothing about this that sticks out to you, but yeah, there's the zombie and the skeleton dancing.
Okay. Do they react to us at all as we pass by?
They do not. You do actually. You do notice a plaque next to them, or I guess a little to the back. They're kind of in a more open space, and there's a plaque, and it has some words there that you don't recognize, but it just says, the former prince and princess performing some random thing, and that's all you can get. That's all it says.
Like there's words in a different language or something?
It's words that it's a name of something, and you don't know what that thing is. I can come up with what that name is, but it's inconsequential.
I see.
I apologize if that kills my world building in your eyes.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Anything else that you want to do before you move on?
Actually, yeah, I want to. Well, actually, no, I won't. I won't waste it because we'll have limited resources. So no,
Okay.
I won't miss anything else.
We can come back, worst case.
Well, I want to test the waters on this one and see essentially if I could get a measurement of if the get a sense of how the power scale was here, and to some extent is more catharsis to see me measure, curiosity how much I'd measure up to him and how much if I could overpower his things, but I'm gonna leave them as they are. They seem happy in their dance.
Okay. Let's get moving then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, Caliston, you are reasonably sure that you've got to be getting close to where the center of the city and Alexander's sanctum must be. You get to a room that actually has a door closed, and based on your guess, this has to be the direction to get to where you're needing to go. But the door is closed.
If only we had Hestia's key.
Did you do anything?
You can't have it.
I mean, I could break this door down in a couple different ways, but that's not none of the ways I can do it are going to be quiet. I'm not really known for me being subtle. Actually, I have one idea, but it's going to. I have one thing I can do, but it's going to remove a pretty powerful resource I have going forward. Do you have any other options? Okay. Malith? Callison?
No, subtlety is not my strong suit. Go ahead.
Is the door. First off, is the door locked?
No, you open the door and it opens.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was so ready for you to blow one of your high level spells to open a door that was totally just it was shut, but it was just. So it is a large stone door, but as you push it open, it's got kind of grooves where you can grab it. It doesn't have like a conventional handle that you're going to turn and a locking mechanism. But as you push it open, it isn't barred from the other side. It's able to swing open. It grinds a little bit. It's not particularly well balanced, and it doesn't necessarily have big hinges. But the slots that it's in, it moves. And as the door swings open, you see before you. Oh gosh, I knew I should have written this word down. So the slab. That's the word. So there's kind of an altar of sorts and a slab with a body on it. And the way as you look at the body, you know how in a lot of medieval things they'll lay someone down, they'll have kind of like their sword like this and their armor and everything on them, and they're just kind of on their crypt like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's you see a body before you that kind of is in that position. And as you enter the room, they sit up and slide off of the slab and stand before you, great sword in hand. And he speaks to you. Halt! Who trespasses upon the land of the pure? I have driven back army after army, and I will not suffer you to move past me and into my homeland. Identify yourselves. We're going to pause there and go to Prince Hestia and see what's going on with them. Okay, Prince and Hestia, you were conversing with Alexander. And I believe, Prince, you were going to begin, at least I remember you telling me last time, was you were going to begin trying to do something to more...
He'll be there in a second.
Oh,
he's away from
he's
his
AFK?
computer for a brief second.
Gosh dang it. You ruined the
Just for a second.
dramatic...
I just told him.
You ruined the dramatic pivot of there's someone there, let's move away.
I'm sorry.
No, not you. It's Kyle. Unless you had him do something.
I know, it's always Kyle. It's all his fault. Everything.
I was about to say, Kyle is the problem child of our group.
It's all good. Mostly.
Sorry about that. I had my AirPods in with the phone, and I was in the other room because you guys were doing stuff, and she was with the baby. So, anyways, I'm ready.
Okay. So, Prince and Hestia, you were up with Alexander. And as I recall, you have just been talking to Alexander about his work and what he does. You're trying to stall for time as much as you possibly can. And Alexander, again, as I recall, closed the last session by saying, yes, I can show you more and I can tell you more, but first, let me deal with the Queen and complete her exhibit.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Hestia, can I have a stealth check from you to see how well you are maintaining your stillness at this time? And at this point, your levitation spell would have expired, and so before it expired, or I guess when it expired, you would have just dropped. So that's one of the reasons that I'm having you roll that. All right, with a 23 stealth, duly noted.
Uh,
On
Prince-
the outside, is Jasper able to hear?
You can see and
Anything?
hear nothing. You could see dark shapes at the beginning, but after probably about 20 seconds, you could no longer see anything. So you are effectively blind to what is going on within.
So Prince is going to say.
We'll get to you in a little bit, Jasper, by the way.
Prince is going to say, although I definitely want to see the finer aspects of your work. Before you get started on that, tell me more about how all of this works. I guess what I mean to say is that I could watch you do this, but I am no wizard. I am not a cleric or anyone who's capable of understanding these sorts of intricacies. How does one go about manipulating the souls? And is the soul really necessary to create the sort of things that you're doing with your museum and your artwork?
Make a bluff check.
Okay. Hold on. Fantasy Grounds is... Yep, hold on.
Yep, you're good.
All right.
And in this situation, I'm going to have you just do a regular raw bluff check, not your perform. Or we'll just go with that.
No,
Or we'll just go or we'll go with that. The die have spoken.
Oh God, why?
You say that, and Alexander looks at you keenly. How is it that you know what is being done with a soul in my work? And you can hear a dangerous edge to his question.
Okay, so repeat exactly what he said. Repeat exactly what he said.
His eyes narrow at you, and he says, "How is it that you know something is being done with the soul in my work?"
Well, we have several people in our party that actually specialize in what you do. They are very hesitant in telling me exactly how what they do works. In fact, the guy who came up with me, Jasper, is actually very familiar with how souls are used. And if he were in here with us at the moment, he'd be able to probably tell me exactly what you're doing. But
I would be highly doubtful.
well, your doubts are probably warranted. He is not an artist like you or I. His relationship to souls is a bit more, well, crude, utilitarian, if I can speak for him. He doesn't. He's like the Lich, as you described him. He's someone who uses the undead merely as a means to get what he wants, not as an expression of any sort of inner desires. And I excuse how I may have put it before. Although I appreciate your artwork, the nature of manipulating souls it's a lot to grasp. It's a lot for someone like me to grasp. And that's why I asked. I asked because I probably need a bit of education in the nature of how the soul works especially in relation to how your artwork comes to life. I don't know if I need a bluff for that because I think that's pretty honest.
Give me a diplomacy
But
check.
Okay, I will do that. Can I use
Yes,
my
yeah, per
rapport
normal.
for that?
The only reason I wanted you to use your raw bluff check is because it was a situation you were saying something that wasn't immediately evident to you that you needed to be covert about. You had a Freudian slip out of character, and so that was a I'm bluffing, but I don't realize that I'm bluffing sort of bluff check.
Okay, cool. Well, which one does diplomacy? That is oratory. Oratory. I keep mixing them up sometimes, but they're the same level.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so-
if they're the same bonus, then just
Oh!
roll it and that's fine.
Wow, extremes.
He doesn't necessarily look bought off as far as his suspicion goes, but he seems to let go of the edge on his voice. He still looks at you a little cautiously, but he opens back up a bit. I understand the number of those who dabble in the necromantic arts, unaware of the, might I say, foolish or backwards nature of what they're doing, being... Sorry, I lost track of my sentence there, trying to find a word. The amount of people who dabble in the necromantic arts, unaware that their methods are mundane in comparison, is nearly the totality of those who try and follow in the footsteps of a master such as myself. In fact, most believe that all that is necessary is magic to create the undead. And it can be assuredly seen that magic will do something. The energies of the world or of undeath are sufficient to create at least the visage of unlife. But to make something truly magnificent, to make, as you say, a work of art, something more needs to be put into it. One needs to put a bit more spirit and soul behind what is done. And if you are willing to keep a secret from your companions, not that I suppose it matters, for as I've told you, your lifespan at this point is more a matter of days or weeks than anything else, but I would be willing to divulge to you a small secret, my own secret recipe, if you will.
Prince will hold out his hand as to say, pause for a second, and he'll try to look as unbecoming as possible to reach inside of his backpack to get out a piece of paper. And he will say, do you mind if I write this down?
Yes, I do. I would rather you give me your word that you will maintain this secret. I don't want anyone else out there, one who is familiar with the necromantic arts, understanding what it has taken me, honestly, centuries to deduce. That is my work.
Prince will bow his head and put the piece of paper parchment back into his backpack and say, all right, well, I don't know if I'll immediately understand the secrets that you're about to tell me, but I will try my best.
And you will maintain their secrets? Their secrecy?
Absolutely.
Give me a bluff check. I know you're so surprised.
I was trying to actually think if I would actually. I almost said it depends on what it is, but I don't think. 31. Okay.
Yeah, not surprised. All right. So he looks at you and he appears satisfied. You see, as you are, I'm sure, familiar with the magical arts, given what I've seen you have accomplished, you know that most spells have a cost. Some, the cost is flesh, others blood, resources, gemstones. Sometimes they require a sacrifice from this world or another to function. But when one is creating something so natural and yet unnatural as the undead, something more is required to give it the true beauty that makes it a work of art. And that something is the soul. Not just any soul, but the soul that once inhabited that body. You see, what I do more than what any other necromancer, coddled in their simple and benign methods, can understand or see, is I take and I use that soul, and I weave it within the body as I reanimate it. The commands, the source of energy for the magic that gives them life is their own soul. Bound as such, I give them immortality, eternity, to carry on, to be and exist forever. And that component gives the undead that I create a strength to them, a strength that lasts in perpetuity. And more than that, it gives them authenticity, a reality that no other necromancer can create. Sure, anyone can take a pile of bones and make of it something that appears to be a man. They can even use those bones to strike down that which was or is. They can create a monstrosity, a worm, a creature bent on destruction. But it has no life to it, no meaning to it. That is what I do. Some, like you, Maldrith, sought immortality to create for yourself a way to live forever. But I cement my immortality in a much more sophisticated way by giving that to everyone else. Every body that I touch, every spirit that I seize and I bend and twist, I'm giving that same gift that you murdered for over and over and over again. So while Maldrith thinks immortality is a gift that must be seized, I understand that immortality is a gift that must be bestowed. And that is what makes my work so much more than what any other necromancer is capable of doing.
So, this isn't in character. I did the pageant of the peacock. I want to do a knowledge check on whether or not these souls. He said they last in perpetuity, like forever.
Perpetuity, yep.
Yes, but I have a sneaky suspicion, out of character, that they might actually run out of energy. I can't imagine a soul can power something like this forever, or or maybe like he has to do something to keep them from becoming sentient. Like, I don't know. Anyways, question is, I want to do a knowledge check using act perform on, like, is he, or maybe it could be a sense motive on whether or not um he's being entirely truthful, or whether or not he actually knows if this will last forever, or like something seems fishy here, I guess is what I'm saying. What should I do? Like sense motive, or should I do more of a like
Give me a sense
knowledge check?
motive. Do it as a
Okay.
sense motive. Because knowledge
Okay,
check,
that's
I
what
would
we're
say
doing.
you don't know enough about souls to be able to have an answer to that. Because you're
Okay.
asking something that goes beyond. I mean, you're getting into the metaphysics of what gods would know in this world, and
Okay.
very few else. There's gonna be supposition, but as far as knowing for sure. So
Okay.
that was your sense motive.
No, I haven't done a
Oh,
sense
go
motive
ahead.
yet.
Yeah,
But I did want to tell you that 37 should have actually been a 26. And
I
the
don't
reason
see
I
a
say that,
37.
the 31, sorry, the 31
Okay,
should have been a 26 because everything's at a -7. I'm gonna start doing that now. I don't think it would have mattered on the nat 1 or the nat
sure.
20,
Yep,
but because I took off my gear,
that's right.
so it's a
Okay,
27.
okay. He very firmly believes what he's saying.
Okay, does that mean that I have a sneaky suspicion that it might be wrong, or do I believe it as well?
You are very welcome to have a sneaky suspicion that that could be wrong.
Okay.
You
Well,
know that he believes what he is saying is accurate. But I think it's very fair for you to say, I mean, and I guess here's something I guess you and I haven't talked about with respect to how I like to run, but I like to, as best as possible, keep character knowledge and player knowledge at parity. So if you, I mean, your character is smart enough that if you think of something, I think it's fair to say that your character can think of it as well.
okay. Well, riffing off of what he said, I will respond by saying, won't souls run out of energy? Is it possible? I mean, the average, from what I understand, that the lifespan of a creature is not indefinite on its own. If you are using the soul to power the movements and the lifelikeness of these creations, wouldn't they certainly run out of energy or oomph at some point?
The soul is not the only component keeping them moving. When I create them, I pull energy, I create a link between them and the plane of negative energy. It suffuses their bodies, and the soul is the conduit by which that is brought here. So not only is the soul itself not the only source of power containing the animation, but also by using the soul, it becomes so much easier to bring the true awareness of that spirit to the creature itself. Whether or not they are in control, they can see, feel, and exist. I give them immortality.
That's very interesting. It must have taken you a long time to figure out how to do this. Where did you practice? I mean, every artist must practice his work. I think that if you had,
Not all secrets are meant to be shared. It was a long and arduous road that brought me to the understandings that I have today, something that very few will even have the lifespan to experience. My secrets, my abilities, will live on forever, but not through me and not through a protege. They will live on forever because of what I create. All else can remain as it is.
well, I hold on. Sorry, that's out of character. No laughing in character. Well,
By the way, I'm going to hold an action to do a spell if I think that the creepy guy will do
'Kay.
anything.
Go ahead and send me a message as to which spell that is.
Okay.
ooh. Hold on. Honest to God, I'll be honest. I am running out of things to say to him. Well, okay.
Your questions have been quite intriguing, Maldrith, but I think it is time for a demonstration. And with that,
Can
Alexander is going to step forward towards Hestia.
I-
Jasper,
Go ahead.
you have been
I'll let
out
you-
Sorry,
there.
Jasper's not here. No, what? Sorry.
You've been out there, I'm going to say probably 20 to 30 minutes at least.
I'm sweating.
What is Jasper doing right now? As he's just waiting. You haven't seen or heard any activity for, by your guess, half an hour.
I am surprised that Prince has actually made it this far because I thought that his plan was going to go to shiz in like less than 5 minutes. I was hoping that maybe they'd find some way to get me in, but maybe if he's stalled this long, I'm just slightly optimistic. I am.
I tried, but he quickly said that you would be that it was a secret, and I was like, "Crap!" As soon as he said secret, I was like, "No."
No, I thought that was a good effort, honestly. Like just IRL me, I thought that was great. But this is Jasper, and he has a little faith in you. No, Jasper is trying to be I think he's trying to be in the moment, like
You would know that Prince is trying to distract him the whole time.
Oh, yeah,
So you would
abs-
also know that, like, if you investigate things, you probably won't be noticed.
I think
Sorry,
that Jasper
real
is
quick,
trying
I'm
pay
gonna
special attention to the
let me
shadows,
jump in
basically.
for just a second. You made a
Yeah.
statement, and I want to very quickly call this out, Kyle.
Oh,
Say that last part again that you just said.
That you could probably investigate and not be noticed.
Keep in mind that is a supposition of Kyle and has no necessary bearing on reality in the world.
Okay.
in all actuality, you guys probably have like a very clear view of what's outside of the building, whereas me looking in, it's all very silhouetted. It's almost akin to like a one-way window or whatever, where it's like a mirror to me, but it's a window to you guys. If anything, I'm just standing there in clear view. Would I remember if that's the way that the view is from the inside?
I'm going to say everything happened way too fast before for you to have
fair.
checked.
Fair. No, that's totally fair. I guess what Jasper would do is if it's very clear that Cohen is looking away from him, he would like do hand gestures toward where Hestia is, just to like.
You have no idea where Hestia is.
No, dang it! Oh,
you have like right now you have zero visibility.
Then I wouldn't do anything in that regard. I know that it's possible that Eater is out there somewhere. Possibly. I know that at a moment's notice, Emmeline Tempest could pop up. I'm trying my best to be as like focused in on whatever silhouettes I can see, even if I can't see any sound, and just trying to be prepared for anything to go down at a moment's notice, and but also occasionally looking to like my side or behind me to see if I'm drawing some unwanted attention, aside from the occasional passerby, of course.
Okay.
I'm ready, by the way, to do what I'm about to do.
So, question for you guys. Do we want to do this in the most cinematic way possible? Or do we want to do this in the most everyone can see everything sort of way? And then if we do it the first way, then we can talk about it afterwards. But one thought that I have is that when next we get back to Hestia and Jasper, everybody else will go to the waiting area so that the stream is still able to see them. And I would hope that you guys don't go watch the stream so that you're not aware. And then we will go back to Jasper and the others separately without them knowing what or when things have happened within the chamber. Or we can just keep like this.
I'm down with that, but I don't know if there's going to be. I mean, you make it sound like there's about to be something significant that might change the.
I'm down for seeing it. Like,
do we want the dramatic, or do we want the? Well, no. I think there could be some fun dramatic moments, but it depends on if that's what you guys would like.
So wait, are you saying that we leave and
no?
like
So what it would be,
leaving, or just them leaving when?
So there's two options that we can do right now, and I want to put it up to a vote because I don't want to just rule this, because this will mean it'll change the way that the night's going to play out to some extent. After we're done with Jasper, we're going to go back to Calliston and the rest of the group. We'll reach a stopping point there, and then option one is we just jump back to Hestia and Prince and see what happens, and then maybe everything converges, maybe it doesn't. Or everybody but Hestia and Prince leaves to the waiting area. You can chat there and do whatever, and then I will tell you when to come back. And then you will do your things or not do your things, and you will find out what happened with Hestia and Prince afterwards.
My vote depends on whether or not there is something Hestia and I can potentially do that will dramatically change what happens to the party below.
No.
No.
That is the only thing that I will say metagame wise is right now everything is there. There is a certain point at which everything will converge, and I would like to, from this point on, have nobody except the people in that room see what happens in that room until everything converges.
Okay. Well, I'm down with it if they are down with it.
Okay.
How about that?
Is everyone okay with that? I want a unanimous vote if we're going to diverge like that. However, I think it will be the most dramatic way.
All right.
Any opposed?
If that's what they want. I guess Hestia hasn't spoken for herself yet.
Any opposed? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
As long as everybody's having fun, I'm fine.
Okay. All right, and we can talk about it afterwards. So you guys know
It's
nobody
all
needs
about
to
the cinema.
Nobody needs to miss out on anything long term. It'll just be you'll miss out on it for a short term. Okay. All right. Then Jasper, if you're not doing anything right now, Parley.
Can I do the thing that?
No.
Oh, wait.
Nope.
Okay,
We're getting to you later. We are getting to you
Okay.
later, and when you do it, you and Hestia and I will be the only people in the call,
Okay.
and the viewers.
Okay.
Okay. The group in the catacombs. As you enter the room, the figure stands up off the pedestal. Halt! Who trespasses upon the land of the pure? I have driven back army after army. I will not suffer you to move past me and into my homeland. Identify yourselves.
Is there any religious markings on him that I can see?
So, as you look at this figure, he appears to be a half-elf. You notice he doesn't appear to be rotting in any way. He doesn't look undead. He has a crown on his head that looks very ornate and expensive. He also wields a very impressive and ornate greatsword. He stands holding it in front of him point to the ground, and his clothing itself, the best you can describe it is royal. There are bright reds and golds trimming the entire outfit. You notice a crest on it, though it is not one with which you are familiar. Religious-wise, you don't see anything on him that sticks out to you. No sigils of any gods that you're familiar with. Like I said, there's the main symbol embroidered on it, and there's probably a few others throughout. And his outfit itself is armored, but it's not necessarily armor per se. If you had to guess, it's more ceremonial armor, probably functional to a point, but it is made to look more ornate than functional.
Okay.
So it's
I would kneel and bare my arm that has the symbol of Pharasma tattooed on it, and I would say, I come before you as a humble priest of Pharasma, someone who has learned of potential wrought within your holy kingdom, and wish merely to find it and weed it out if it pleases you.
Give me a diplomacy check.
That's all. I'm being truthful.
Absolutely.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. I am rolling terribly.
High bonuses for the win.
Oh, great.
So he looks at you. What sort of rot would lead a servant of Pharasma to seek entry into Zelkir? And why would you be coming in such abnormal methods? Why come with such secrecy?
Isn't it obvious? Pharasma mainly deals and concerns herself with the corruption of undead. And the prey we hunt is one that must be dealt with subtly. We mean no offense.
Tell me, what prey is it that you seek? What undeath do you think has tainted Zelkir? That you, an outsider, would venture here?
A necromancer, a powerful one, name of Cohen.
You speak blasphemy. Cohen is no monster, he is no necromancer, but a patriot. A defender of Zelkir. Wash your tongue now, else I will cut it from your mouth.
May I, if I may, pose one thought, one not of dissent, but simply of curiosity. I am not from your land, and I don't suppose myself to be, or make any implication that I know of what your land, the struggles that you have. But in my own home, I have found that the greatest of destruction and the greatest betrayals come from within. Now,
What proof do you have? You accuse Cohen, someone who I have known for many years. You accuse him of treachery, of treason. What proof do you bring?
This entire damned fort, for starters. If you'd like us to show you, we'd be more than happy.
I'm not interested in your deceptions. What do you speak of, this fort?
Where are you right now?
He looks at you intently, You can give me a sense motive, Caliston. You can see a note of confusion in his face, and perhaps even a little uncertainty. And he steels himself for a moment. I am King Ruidin, once king of Zelkir, now blessed to defend her still. Despite my age, I was gifted the strength and longevity to hold my post in defense of this kingdom. This, a secret passage leading into the land of my forefathers. It shall stand, and this is where I am, preventing intruders like you. Intruders coming with blasphemy, with lies and deception. You will not be allowed to live and spread word of the whereabouts of this passage. You have sealed your fate by coming here.
Owen makes no attempt to hide his actions, his intentions. If you would permit us just a small amount of time, I don't exactly see what the harm would be.
Put down your
Worst
weapons,
case scenario,
and we can talk.
waste a few minutes of your time.
Close the door behind you, and put down your weapons, and we can talk. Otherwise, you have moments before I separate your head from your body, intruders.
What do you wish to know?
Do you comply? Do you close the door or put down your weapons?
I say this as I turn around to close the door.
Okay, yeah.
And
Put down your weapons, and we will speak.
I'll put down my.
I'm gonna, as I'm passing by Sin, I'm going to whisper, "We don't have time for this."
What was that, Sin?
Oh, I'm waffling between two options. Okay, I'm gonna cast a spell magic on him. Something's keeping him alive, and I'm wanting to break that enchantment.
Okay. Go ahead and cast your spell.
Okay.
There we go. Take him out. Take him out. Let's go.
Okay. Ooh.
So it is. So according to Dispel Magic, the DC is 11 plus the spellcaster level.
Okay. I'm gonna give you the juicy part from behind the scenes. That is not enough to break the spell caster level of Cohen if he had cast the spell today. But it is high enough to beat it from when he did cast the spell. So, as you cast the spell, you immediately were able to tell that the most evident thing that you dispelled was gentle repose. For something in the spell, as you get rid of it, his body begins to immediately deteriorate and reveal that he is, in fact, a zombie. He makes a motion forward as you cast your spell, saying, "Die, traitor!" And then as he does so, he sees as his body begins to show its zombie qualities. And he immediately staggers backwards, screaming, "What have you done to me? What treachery and what wizardry is this?"
Allow us to pass, and we can restore your form. Or you can wither away by the end of the day.
Go ahead and give me a bluff check.
That's not a bluff. That's me just telling him what's gonna happen.
Oh, okay. So you're not meaning that the results of the spell is that he'll wither away, but okay. Give me an intimidate check. Fair? Oh, nice. He steels himself. Your threats do not scare me, intruder. You will die, and I will die before I let you into my homeland. He charges you. Given what I know, I won't necessarily have us roll initiative. What do you do?
Well, as part of what I would do is I would cast Bull Strength with my Rod of Extend on Wrath.
Okay. Parley, are you doing anything? Malith, are you doing anything? I'll give you both effectively one round because this is probably not a surprise to any of you. So he's charging at you. Are you going to do anything?
Give me just a second to
Yeah.
see.
Parley,
What?
are you doing anything as he charges at you?
Okay, well, he provokes an attack of opportunity, so I'm gonna trip him.
Okay, trip him.
And then, after he's tripped, Wrath will come over and
Are
make
you
his head paste.
okay? All right. Then
Wrath is gonna what?
Make his head paste.
Well, okay. Is there just a door behind him?
there's several doors, but nothing looks out of the ordinary from what you've seen. You're still 20 feet below the earth, or below the surface. And you don't see anything near or around him that looks different.
So there's multiple doors, of which any could be where we need to go.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, just kill this moron. I've had
Okay.
enough of this. So, yeah, I would swift cast a Divine Favor on myself.
So, honestly, with the circumstances, him being, 1 on 4, you guys will have no issue keeping him perpetually tripped. And yeah, I'm just gonna say you guys are able to demolish him.
Moron. If you would have just, listened for 1 second, stubborn idiot. Whatever,
You did
don't have
cast a
time for
spell on
this.
him, made him think he was undead.
Oh, well, that wouldn't have changed anything. That just showed how much of a freaking stubborn fool the man was. Anyways, now that
Okay.
we've dispensed with him, let us be about it. We're rushing to go as fast as we can.
Yep.
All right.
So you can take his sword as we're going.
At this point, give me another survival check, Calistan.
I can assist, or I would like to assist if you can. There we go.
Oh, good.
I barely help.
26.
Okay. Based on everything that you've been doing, you've got to be close to his sanctum at this point. It's got to be somewhere here.
When we get there, just all-out attack on Alexander. I assume we shouldn't hesitate, right?
I agree. We should.
Okay.
We shouldn't hesitate. We should go as hard as we can.
You are
Hestia
20.
might already be.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, Hestia might already be in dire straits. I'm also going to cast Shield of Faith on Wrath.
Okay.
My rod is expended.
Okay. Is there
I will
anything?
cast.
Oh, go on with your buffing then.
Yeah, I'll cast Bull Strength on myself. And Protection from Evil.
Okay. You are somewhere close to his sanctum, but you're still 20 feet below the ground at least. It's hard for you to tell if there has been much in the way of elevation change throughout this time, but it feels like it's relatively flat throughout the catacombs. What are you going to do next? How are you going to... where are you going next? This room has two other doors, both stone doors like the one that you came through to get in.
I'm gonna cast detect magic. See if there's. I reckon it's only 60 feet. Let's just see if there is a greater presence of magic or greater strength of magic one way or the other.
Okay, actually, give me just a moment.
My assumption is that the more powerful magics that he's been employing are going to be the direction where he most likely is.
You find no magical auras in the area.
Okay. Well, it's a 50-50 chance. We can split up, or we can just try one.
There's different doors.
There's two other doors that you have that are going elsewhere from this room.
I think we should all go together.
I agree.
Okay, so
I'm gonna take a page out of what's his name, Jaster's book, and I'm gonna flip a coin.
Okay, so you pick one of the doors. As you go through, you enter the room. Nothing looks out of the ordinary about this room, and as you check all the adjacent rooms to that one, it looks like just the rest of the catacombs spidering off in every direction. And it doesn't take you long to get past where you're pretty sure the sanctum is no longer above you. And as you go back, go out the other door, same thing. Within this vicinity, the only notable room is the one with the now re-dead, once King of Zelkir.
You don't detect any magic that could possibly lead us. Just double checking.
No. Do I see? We've seen a natural progression of things becoming more and more, not modern per se, but used. Is there any way? Do I see any inclination that one is more so than the other? Like,
give me a perception check.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
alrighty.
Finally.
As you are looking around this room, it definitely is coated in dust. If you had to guess, this is still years worth of dust right here. However, there is one section that the dust, and it's the way that the dust settles that reveals this to you. There's one of the walls that has a small gap on either side of a section where the dust doesn't quite settle. And you can, as you look at it, you can tell that there is some sort of secret passage there.
Okay. It's right there. It's been in front of us the whole time. Let's go.
Alright, give him a nod and start heading with him.
I mean, it's a stone door. I mean, it's a wall. So it's not open. It's just, you can tell that there is a secret, some sort of door there. So you can tell that it's there, but you're not sure exactly how to open it.
Any indication of a hinge or key or slot or anything else like that?
Not that you can see right next to it. But you
don't
can
have
tell
stone shape?
there's got to be something close. Especially given that you did detect magic and there was nothing. If there is a mechanism, it's got to be really close.
Okay.
I'm gonna search the body of the king for anything noteworthy.
Yeah.
While he's doing that.
I used all my.
Give me a
my stone
perception
shapes
check,
today.
Calistan.
Yep.
I'm just gonna take a 20 to search his body.
Okay. That will take more time.
All right.
Okay. You search his body. Nothing on his body is of note. And in a moment of frustration and desperation, you go and lean on the pedestal or the slab that he was on as you kind of try and think, and you're just thinking, where else could it be? And as you go to lean forward, you put your hands down to push off the slab, and you feel something underneath the slab. And as you get low, you see a small button or trigger or something, and as you push it, you hear a click coming from the door, from the secret door. And at that point, when you go and test it, you're able to push it open.
Let's make haste.
Okay. You charge upwards through the stairs, and as you look forward, you can see light coming through. We will get to you later. All right. This is the part now where Jasper, Sin, Calistan, and Malith, I'm going to put you guys over in the waiting area, and I will bring you in when we're ready for you.
Not unless I get there first. Wait, oh crap, where is it? Where is it?
Okay. Are you two ready?
Yes, but I have a question.
Yes.
My question for you is, would a hero point help something that is a DC in the direction of someone else? So, like, if they have to meet a DC, is there any possible way of enhancing the DC of something via a hero point?
No.
No. Okay.
The hero point lets you be as effective as you possibly could in a situation, and in the case of a DC, that relies on them being effective or ineffective, not the other way around. So the hero point can only affect something that you specifically are doing that has variables attached to it.
Okay. So, if he's about to walk towards Hestia, what I am going to do is
I'd like all three of you to, or both of you, to roll initiative.
Oh, yikes, no.
Erica, you had a prepared action, and I have taken that into account.
Okay.
I would like everybody to roll initiative.
Initiative. Where is my initiative? Oh, it is low.
I'd like to re-roll that.
I mean, okay.
But you know what?
Go ahead.
I have 2 hero points. I'm going to use... Wait. Can I tell if I'm going first yet?
You are not allowed to use initiative, or you're not allowed to use a hero point on initiative.
Oh, okay.
I'm ruling that right now. Just because it is one of those things that it's not really something anyone knows. It's a very metagame thing, just to help logistically. So, go Prince.
Well, Prince will say out loud, I would like to show you what my soul does with my art. And I will attempt a fascinate. And the fascinate is going to be a dance. And Prince is incredibly nervous, so he's improving. And I want him to improv anime dances. Like, it is the most nervous improv, doesn't know what he's doing sort of dance. I still want the DC to be a 20. But if you need visual aid,
so
I'll find
what is the DC for that normally?
It would be a 22. Without my gear, it is a 20.
Okay, give me 1 second.
but it will still be noticeable. So he's probably going to turn at the very least. And I'm going to use also Songbird to get a musical accompaniment.
Okay.
And also,
The
it stops
good
me from using.
news is that
Mhm.
had he turned, he would have failed the save. The bad news is he did not listen to you well enough, or at least care enough to turn. So you were doing his thing, and if he turns, once you get his attention, the fascination attempt will happen.
Okay, so to do that,
So your turn is over. Sorry, you've done
Okay.
your thing, and I've taken note of it. And if and when he turns, he will see you dancing, and we'll handle that there. Hestia, he is approaching you, and you can see. Actually, are your eyes? Yeah, your eyes are open enough for you to be able to know what's been going on. So at this point, you can see him looking with a look of satisfaction, the same as if an artist has got their canvas set before them and has grabbed their pen or pencil, and they are, whatever their tools are, they are ready to begin the work. Your triggered action is going to go off now. So what are you doing? Erica? Are you there, Erica? Can you hear me, Kyle?
wait, yes, I can.
Okay. Oh, I think we might have lost Erica. Give me one moment while I go check to make sure.
Okay, sorry. I'm back. Sometimes internet is crazy.
Okay, you're back.
Mhm.
Okay, so Cohen is walking towards you with the look on his face akin to an artist that has set up their canvas and is ready to begin the work. So your triggered action goes off. What was it that you were doing? Illuminate the rest of us.
I'm going to do Baleful Polymorph.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn him into a little rat.
You're going to attempt to turn him into a little rat.
Mm-hmm. The rat that he is.
Okay. What is the DC?
My fantasy ground's turned off, so I'll have to.
Okay. Give me one moment and I will check.
The video I posted is the dances that
Okay.
is doing. The
What,
nervous dances.
Let's see. Trying to remember the spell level. Okay. It is 5th level spell. And okay. Alrighty. Actually, hold on. Let me double check. Okay, so for
Do you think he's going to think that you're seducing him?
the first thing
Oh,
is
maybe.
a fortitude save for this.
For me?
No, for him.
Does he make it?
And he makes the fortitude save. So, Hestia, you stretch forth your hand and you cast Baleful Polymorph, willing him to turn into, what was it you said? A rat?
A rat.
A rat. And you see for a moment his form begins to take on rat-like qualities. But then anger flashes in his eyes. He grits his teeth, and his form reverts back to how he looks. Treacherous fool. Treacherous fools! You seek to come in here and defeat me? You do not understand what you have done. Real quick, Prince, as I recall...
Don't I have a hero point?
You do, but that cannot affect what he does, only what you do. Prince...
That's what I was asking.
Yeah. So Prince, Fascinate, as I recall, does not function on someone when they are actively being threatened, correct? I believe that breaks Fascination innately. So, that being the case, he turns to you, Prince, and says, You seek to distract me. You seek to glean from me secrets of my work. You come in here deceitful and lying. I share with you my art, and this is how you betray me? I'll make you into the toad that you are. And he also casts Baleful Polymorph. However, he casts it on you, Prince. Make a Fortitude save.
I'm going. Can I use my cancel magic?
You cannot. You just used your action, your
Yeah.
standard action.
He's about to hit me.
Okay. So, Prince, give me a Fortitude save.
Oh boy.
Please make this.
Well, I could use my hero point on this, but
You could.
I
mean, make
have
the
to
roll
do it before
first.
my roll?
No, the hero point can be used at any point. Okay. So, I was gonna make him turn you into a rat, but Hestia had already tried that, so I didn't want to copy. So he's gonna turn you into a serpent. So he does that, and you feel for a moment, you feel the slithering body that you were a part of. However, you're able to also resist the spell, and you push back, and he looks at you with anger. I see that you are as resistant as I am. So be it. You will burn. All right, Prince, your turn.
Okay, there is not much I can actually do here.
Hestia, you are on deck, and then it is his turn.
Give me like 10 seconds because I was not accounting for the fact that I was going to be in combat. You know what? I am going to try. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is what I'm going to do. Can I do distraction? Is it allies? Any creature. God bleep it. Wait, what about? God, it's all any creature. Well, we're just gonna
Okay, you've
pray
got 20
that
seconds.
he fails, and that I'm gonna pray that he fails, and that Hestia does not. Actually, I can do it after the fact. No, it still hits both of them. Damn. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I am going to do as a move action, Dirge of the Torn Sail. It is going to have the same DC as the other one, will save. And it will fear everything in 30 feet that can hear my performance.
Hestia, go ahead and make a will save.
And it's going to be a violin. If I need to, wait, did I give my silver violin away, or did he consider that a weapon?
He didn't let you bring in anything.
Okay, then I have to use my standard action to summon a violin. There we
Okay.
go. And then I will Dirge of the Torn Sail as a move action.
Did I make it or did I die?
You did not make it. You will be feared, and you have to do everything you can to get away.
Okay.
To compel to flee from me as per greater command, so it is not the typical fear.
Okay. So per greater command. Let me look that up. One moment. So compelled to flee. How long does this last? Is it every round he'd make the save?
Okay, I am going to need to actually look at the bar because the thing I have written here isn't exactly clear. So I'm going to go to the bardic performance.
I'm just gonna, for the sake of time and drama, I'm gonna say yes. So
It continues. I think it does.
it continues, but it's every round he's gonna get to make a save again, and Hestia, and you need to be maintaining the performance every round. So what are you doing? Because you said this is Dirge of the Damned?
Dirge of the Torn Sail.
Dirge of the Torn Sail. All right. Describe to me what Prince is doing.
It's a song that warns of the terrible fate awaiting anyone who enters my territory. So since it's a violin, it's going to be a sort of morose, foreboding music.
So let's also be clear about this. As a bard, you are able to supplement your performances with magical energy, even if it's not having a mechanical effect. I would imagine that there's also some sort of magical energy or illusion that's accompanying this. Not with mechanical bonuses, but just that's happening. So please describe to me what is happening around your person as you are playing this morose dirge.
Give me like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I will say that because it is fear-based, I think the image of what the people who are being affected by it fear most should appear and come out of the music as a emanation of the music. So whatever Cohen fears the most and whatever Hestia fears the most is going to be on display. And greater command, go ahead.
No,
it doesn't look like it's per round. The thing doesn't say per round. It just says as greater command.
Gotcha.
Greater command is 1 round per level. So, but it says it continues as long as I do the performance. So
well, yeah.
I don't think he makes another save. I don't think anyone.
Greater command. Each time they take an action after the first, it gets another will save to break free.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
but regardless. Okay. So as you do this, you are subconsciously tapping into Cohen and actually bringing forth to bear what you've gathered from him as you've discussed with him. And as you're playing the violin, now is it, I guess, would you describe the notes to be more slow and somber or violent and terrifying in the way that they're coming out?
I would say violent and terrifying.
Okay. So So as you're going to bear on the strings, just hitting out the notes, and as you do so, you start reaching out to kind of create this image of what you think will cause him the greatest fear. And what sticks in your mind from your conversation, what you've experienced with him, is his desire for immortality through his artwork. And what you are showing him and what you are doing is you're showing each and everything that he's created being torn down. You're showing him both the situations that you've seen and effectively what you're threatening to have done to all of his work. that he will be made to watch his art be destroyed, after which he himself will be destroyed, so that there is no trace of him left in the world. And
How would that manifest visually? That's very
yeah, so
conceptual.
well, because what's happening there is you're tapping in to just some minor spells to have kind of a quick vision of that, like a kind of a quick snapshot coming out as just a visual illusion that just shows the time that, for example, Sin had taken control of and destroyed one of his things. You're showing him all of those that you've seen. It's almost like a slideshow of things that are just flashing one after the other. With each strike of the strings, it kind of manifests in the air in front of you. And then as you get
Would-
past what you've actually done, you're kind of doing that and kind of
To add
Go
to
ahead.
it,
Yeah.
would you also say that he's afraid of the Lich, like actually creating the dragon and pulling the dragon up? Because he sounded like a bit spiteful that anyone
that's this is not necessarily you pulling from his subconscious, but you drawing from your own and your understanding. So if you think that is something that would scare him, then yes, that would be one of the things that you show.
The dragon as a masterpiece. It comes back to life perfectly. I guess. I don't know. I feel like he's also very arrogant.
So you make it so that you show Mordecai doing what Cohen is saying that he's the only one who could do.
Yes.
Mordecai does it instead.
Yes, and all of his artwork falling apart.
Okay.
Both of them.
Yeah.
All of it.
So that is what you are showing. Hestia, are you going to? You failed the save. Are you going to be doing anything, or should I describe to you what you see?
I'm going to try and, regardless, can I still try and cast a spell on Alexander?
You are feared. So you are terrified of Prince and what he's showing you, unless you wanted to use a hero point, really is what it comes down to.
Could I feast on my own fear?
I think you could use your hero point.
You could use your
hero
hero
point. That's about
point,
the only thing you can do.
or you will be running away from Prince as well.
Do you have anything that can pop you out of fear? Like anything as a
I'm looking. Because I think I've seen a spell like that.
Well, but you won't be able to cast the spell on yourself while you're afraid.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have to be
Then
as a.
honestly, I'll just run away from him.
Okay. Hestia, as you are seeing Prince's his performance, what flashes out before your eyes is you are seeing your son's soul be consumed by Cohen. Everything that you've worked for, you see Cohen wreaking havoc through your people, taking your family, taking you, and subjecting you all to the worst torture. And you see right next to him Prince helping him.
What the heck, Prince? I thought you were my friend.
So, okay, Hestia, you are compelled to flee from before Prince. Prince, what else are you going to do as you're doing this performance?
Well,
or actually, let me actually go to his turn, because Hestia, you're running and you go.
If they can't get escape, they have to attack whoever's. Well, they have to do everything they can to get out.
Hestia, you are next, and you rush back towards effectively the airlock sort of thing that you remember there, and you rush to it, and you search on the wall, and you find a button, and you smash that button, trying to get away as fast as you can from Prince, and you jump into the airlock as it closes behind you. Can you be with the other people and not say anything? Or do you want to stay here?
I'd like to stay here, please.
Okay, all right. Then please mute yourself.
I'd really run away. I'd rather use my hero point. I was just hoping I could still fight.
Yeah, if you want to still fight, then you will have to use your hero point. Okay. Then you don't see all of that. Thanks for waiting until after I delivered the dramatic scene.
I'm sorry, I wanted to see what happened. Okay.
Well,
I'm this close to saying no, it's too late to use your hero point.
You you could do what we came in here to do instead of trying to fight. Because I don't think we can. I, honest God, don't think we can take him down by ourselves. But, the key. Anyways, I'll be quiet. I'll let you
Yeah.
do what you do.
So Hestia, you have 3 seconds to decide. Do you use the hero point retroactively,
I
or do
use
you
the
leave?
hero point.
Okay. All right. So your turn is going to be using the hero point to negate the
That's
fear.
fine. Thank
Okay.
you for accepting it.
All right. So Cohen, as he sees all this coming from you, Prince, you hear him just saying under his breath, "No, no, no!" And he turns and he runs away from you as he goes to a back corner of the a back corner of the okay, sorry, give me one moment. I want to
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. He runs to a back corner and disappears from your view, and you can hear stepping as he is rushing downstairs, fleeing from your presence.
All right. Is it my turn yet?
Can we run after him?
Yes, you can
We-
run after him.
Well,
I run after him.
is the turn order still going?
Yes,
Wait,
Prince.
is combat ended or
No,
what?
combat is not ended. Prince, go.
Okay. I will tell Hestia to quickly use her key. Use your key against the soul thing. Prince doesn't even know what it is. And I will go to the button.
What button?
Does it look like it can be
What
unlocked?
button?
Whatever thing that we came through, the door to open so Jasper can come in here.
You can see that you could push the button and cycle it.
What do I know of coming in here? Does it seem like an easy process to come in here? Like, do I understand it?
It
If
seems
not,
like
I'm
the
not gonna
thing
attempt.
kind of just goes like that. It opens, you can get in from the outside, and then it closes, and
Okay.
it comes, and you can get in.
So is it kind of like a door? Like, could a message go through it?
You'd have to put the message in the thing and then turn it, and then someone would
Well,
have
I
to
mean
grab it.
the spell message.
Oh, no.
No.
It functions like an airlock in that there is never any point where there is a gap between the outside and the inside.
Is there, last question before I fully decide what I'm going to do, is
Okay, clock's
oh,
ticking.
I know that's not true.
Clock's ticking.
Okay. So there's no way to cast through this glass, right?
Not that
Is there like,
you could try.
because I have line of sight out of it. I can see Jasper, right?
No, you cannot.
Oh,
it's
damn.
very hazy. You cannot see out.
Alrighty then. Well,
Actually, wait,
then-
hold on. No, I take that back. As you get close, you can see out.
would that count as line of sight for casting a spell?
What spell?
I would do prestidigitation to draw a magic line arrow pointing towards the door that would be visible to Jasper.
Okay, yep. You can do that from within. As
Alright,
you cast the spell,
prestidigitation.
as you cast the spell, you're able to do it on the thing, and whether or not it's visible to the outside, you're not sure.
Okay.
But you do that. And then do you press the button? You're able to find the button.
So I'll press the button.
'Kay,
I'll press
alright.
the button.
Okay,
Alrighty. And that is my turn.
okay. I'm going to bring everyone else back in. I would like the two of you to... Actually, Hestia, is there anything that you're going to do? You use the hero point. I want you to be able to do something with it. So, what
Yes,
are
and
you
the
going
key
to do?
shouldn't take that long.
Can I track Alexander Cohen? I just want to find him so he doesn't.
Okay, so you're following him. You can make a move and you can get down.
I can track him. I have tracking abilities.
He just moved just barely. It's been like 6 seconds since he
Okay.
went.
Then yeah, I'm running after him.
Okay, so you're running after him.
Could I try and cast my spell again?
What spell?
The Baleful Polymorph.
Yes, you can.
Okay, then I cast that.
Okay. Let me.
Can I roll?
Hold. Nope. You don't get to roll. He does.
Okay.
On
Okay.
my screen, that says Calliston, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay.
Oh, I know why. But regardless, I've fixed it now. Okay. I would like the both of you to, or Hestia, what were you trying to turn him into?
A worm.
Okay. Ooh, hold on. Let me see if that's. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to bring everyone else in, and I would like the both of you to say nothing.
Okay.
And that is like the essence of like good choice in games, is like when there's not a binary good and evil. It's like, what do you think is best? You have to think about it. You have to come to your own conclusion. With stuff that makes you think, that immerses you right there, and that is fantastic design and writing.
I would agree. Welcome back.
Hi.
Hey.
We're talking about how awesome Disco Elysium is.
Sweet. All right. So Jasper, you've been outside for
gosh.
about 30 minutes. And as you are standing there, you see a figure walk up, and you can see a silhouette, but nothing more. As the turnstile thing opens, and you see an arrow appear on the wall pointing towards it. And it opens for you. So if you wish, you can step in just as you have once before.
I briskly walk in.
Okay. Callistan, Sin, Malith. You open the secret passage, and as you charge forward, you begin to hear screaming. And before you, you see an old man coming down the stairs, screaming, "No! No!" But before you can react, his body contorts. And for a moment, you're unsure what is happening until his entire form compresses and drops to the ground as a worm.
As a worm?
As a worm.
Cohen is a worm.
A worm.
To be who
And
he
as you
truly
look up,
is.
As you look up at the top of the stairs, you see Hestia, hands stretched forth. A look mixed of fear and anger plain on her face.
Kill the worm.
Jasper, as you enter in, the turnstile turns and you find yourself once again within Alexander Cohen's sanctum. And just to your side, you see Prince. Violin in hand, as he is playing the most violent and scary piece that you've ever heard from a violin. Type. Callistan, Sin, Malith, what do you guys do?
I want to do a perception check just to kind of the sense of what's going on.
So do
'cause-
I.
I just
I mean, like,
give me a spellcraft check. I just described to you what's going on. Give me a spellcraft check.
Okay.
That's the best that I can do for you. That is the absolute best that I can do for you beyond a
That's fair.
quick recap of restating what happened before you guys ran up. Okay. Maleth, you immediately Sin, you don't even know what just happened. But Maleth, as you walked up, actually no, let's start with Sin. Sin, you just watched a man become a worm right in front of you. An old man, that's all you saw. You just wait, is that a man? Wait, is that a worm? Maleth,
I'm going to switch the worm. I'm very
You-
concerned about this worm man.
you just witnessed the effects of a baleful polymorph.
Baleful polymorph.
That appears to have been cast by Hestia. Yes.
Okay. Do any of us? Maleth would ask, does anyone here have a jar or something we can put him in?
Maleth, you would know that depending on the effects of the spell, it may not have gotten rid of any of his ability to cast spells or do things. It could have.
Oh.
It could not have.
Okay. Well, in that case, Maleth would say, we need to still be careful or do something with him. He might still have abilities.
I can see a reason to keep him alive.
I have a hat lined with lead. I can put him in that and tie it up.
Okay, do that for now then, while we talk about this.
Okay.
How long does this spell last? Sorry, go ahead.
Maleth, you would know that the spell is permanent.
Oh, well, that's useful.
Okay. So, Jasper, you pull out your lead-lined cap or your hat, and
Quick question, real quick.
yeah.
Did
I guess I have two of them, so I could like put him in one hat, and then in the you put him in the hollow of the hat, and then put the other hat into it. So that way.
My question is, if I didn't see the spell
Yeah.
go off, I would probably be still playing my.
We could also
yes,
just burn him and kill him.
you know that it doesn't necessarily make him any less strong. Like it doesn't remove any hit points that he had. By the
then
way.
I'll just kill him slowly.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying. Okay. So, Jasper, you take your two hats and you put him in between them.
Yes.
Okay.
We could drown him. He's terrible. He's a bad person.
I agree that he doesn't have any ethical qualms. However, let's ensure that we can do what needs to be done with these souls first.
Yeah, get your son out.
Yeah. All right. You guys watch him. I'll get my son. See ya.
So I'm guessing combat's over. Yep.
I didn't have
Thanks.
anyone re-roll initiative.
Okay.
Combat is over.
What in the nine hells came over your soul to cause that type of performance?
Are you asking me or him?
No,
Prince, I've never heard anything of that timbre.
Well, to be truthful, I was just trying to improvise. The first thing I knew to do was dance, but he turned his head and it did not look like things were going good. And
Oh, shut up! That was a horrifying, violent. You just, oh, I just improvised. No, that. What happened? What did he do? What did he say that caused that eruption of emotion and performance?
well, he tried to do to me what Hestia just did to him.
Oh. You're
I would notice that they look the same. Sorry to interrupt. I would notice that they look the same, right? I saw the same spell 3 times.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, The night is yours, your guys's. So I don't have anything else until you get to a point where you have questions for me.
Prince will walk down the stairs to see what has happened to this guy, Cohen.
Oh, he's in between my lead-lined hats.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you would know, Malith,
Oh,
that
maybe he doesn't know.
Malith, just because he technically might be able to cast spells, the components for those spells are still the same. And as a worm, he doesn't have hands to do somatic components, and he doesn't have a mouth to do verbal components with. He can't speak. So, as a worm, he very possibly just can't cast spells anyway, unless he had a way to do them without any of that.
We should probably still kill him if someone realizes who he is and removes the spell or casts the spell magic.
Well, let's not be
Probably
too
the
hasty. We might be able to use him as some sort of bargaining chip. And I will say, as nasty as the man was, he's just confused. I think he deeply cares for this town and the way that he knows how to care for it. I don't think that. I mean, Sin, you should be able to sympathize with him. I mean, I have seen your creations.
They are not even remotely the same person.
Yes, but he does something very similar than that Sin has told me he has done. Sin, he asks people whether or not they want to become what he makes them. And that is not what Cohen did, but putting the souls inside of undead is something very similar to what Sin did. And although they may have different ethos on how to go about it, I think that at least in his mind, he thought that he was doing it for a good reason. And I think that Sin thinks that what he's doing is for a good reason as well. So I would say best case scenario, we can use him still to this day. He might be able to undo what he's done. I don't know if I can, and I don't know if Sin can, and I don't know if Jasper can. So as long as we have him in a place where he cannot cause harm, at least right now, maybe we should stave off ending his life, at least for a little while.
I cast Curse Major on him.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. What is the curse going to be? What level spell is that?
That is Curse Major is. Curse Major is 5th level.
Oh, it's just bestow curse, but with a higher DC.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do it for. He will have a permanent -4 to attack rolls, saves, ability checks, and skill checks.
No, hey, stop.
Okay.
Stop.
It's done.
Sorry, I wasn't telling you to stop.
What's the
There
DC?
is a little munchkin trying to get my keyboard.
Oh.
It's done. It's done. Sorry.
So the DC would have been. Let me do some math because the DC would have been actually pretty high. It would have been 26.
Okay.
And I hate
not 26. It would have been 27.
Okay.
I hate to meta game a bit, but those can stack.
Curses?
What do you mean?
1 second.
I mean, if you want to cripple him even more, and I mean, if you want to be creative.
Okay. Either way, he fails to save, and you can tell that your curse takes effect.
Okay.
I would like to do a spellcraft check just to see what that was.
Yeah, give me a spellcraft check. You do not recognize what he cast.
Okay. I'm going to assume what you just cast there, Sin, is something to keep him at least under control.
It's a precaution. If we're going to keep him alive, then we're going to want to prevent him from, basically anything else happening. And if Hestia needs to recast the spell, we want to make it more difficult for him to do so.
Okay. Prince is going to use the prestidigitation that he cast earlier to create a small, crude jar, at least for now.
Okay.
Actually, the lead hats are probably better. You know what? Through the jar. The lead hats are probably better. I'd like something that concealed, but we can do that later.
Okay.
As far as that, we should do what we came in here to do. Hestia, would you like to do the honors?
Go ahead and kill him.
No,
Heck
not
yeah.
that. Just
Okay. Could I do both? Because please.
I mean, I'm with you, Hestia. I don't think that this.
I think we should kill him now. I don't want to risk it. I want him gone. He's killed so many people. Why are we keeping him alive?
Well, we have currently not used your key on his soul device. I do not know if it will reverse any of the things that he has done. And
Okay.
looking at Jasper, I'm not sure he's capable of doing the things that he has done previously. So if we, your son is the fate of your son is still not known.
All right.
what
then
I what I did before is different from what I can do now, and if anything, what I can do now is more helpful if Hestia's artifact isn't sufficient.
Well, let's see if it is. I'd like to see Hestia reunited with her child.
I'm gonna
I agree.
go and open up the bauble.
Okay. So as you approach the soul gem, you actually are unable to get close to it. It has a protective field around it, keeping you at bay, about a foot back.
Can I throw a rock at it?
You try, and it doesn't work.
Seeing this, I'd like to cast Detect Magic on the orb thing to see what is its deal.
Give me a spellcraft check. So it's not an orb.
What?
It's a. Let me drop.
Oh,
a
yikes.
picture.
All right, someone else needs to do this.
Can I cast True Seeing so I can see it how it really is?
Is it invisible?
I don't know. Might as well double check.
No, it's not invisible. You can see that there's a. So really, what this is, it's like a large crystal or gemstone that is very finely crafted. It's not circular. It's more kind of this shape, and it is floating in the air, right next to, or not in the air. It's on a pedestal, right next to the wall, but you're just unable to get closer. From your detect magic, there's definitely magic around it, but you can't see. As you use True Seeing, Hestia,
Wow, it sees through polymorph too. You can see Cohen for what he really is.
yeah, you can tell that Cohen is
No,
not a
he
worm.
looks the same.
It's him.
That's true. That is true.
You look at Cohen, you see nothing different. As you look at the orb, you can actually, because of your connection to spirits and the other side, you are able to see that within the gemstone, the soul gem itself, you can actually see your son's soul in there, as well as, honestly, countless others. If you had to guess, there's hundreds of souls trapped within there, if not thousands. This is a massive gemstone, a massive soul gem to be able to hold all of those.
Can I even get any close to anywhere to use
You
my
can't.
key?
You can tell that that there is some sort of magical barrier between you and it.
Is there a way for us to dismiss the barrier?
While this is going on,
You could
Prince is
try
going to
and
go ask
dispel it.
Jasper for his gear.
Utilizing
Can I
the
just
key.
get that really quick, Jasper?
Just rifling through all of it.
Sorry, by all means, take it.
Hestia, you
Right.
could.
Can I?
Oh, go ahead.
Good.
I
I
was
was
just
gonna
gonna
say, can I do something kind of weird?
Yeah.
Can I?
I think you always do.
use...
But go ahead.
Well, that's. I feel like most of the things, like I want to do something weird. I want to use channel energy, and I mean these are souls of people. I mean, I feel like that's a step close to being undead. I want to see if I can command them, and maybe even like encourage them to break their own prison.
So as you do so, the barrier of magic between you and the soul gem doesn't appear to stop your energy. However, the soul gem itself rebuffs your attempts. What you're trying to do is unable to penetrate the soul gem itself.
Okay.
Would someone mind using their knowledge of magic to see exactly what this thing is?
Hey, DM, with my familiarity with soul gems and the like, would I be able to understand why the soul gem itself would be?
Detect
Soul
magic.
gems are very robust anyway. You can't just like punch a soul gem and shatter it. You can actually let me double check something.
Yeah.
So you are like a soul gem itself can be destroyed, but they are robust anyway. And you are seeing the biggest soul gem that you've ever seen. I mean, if you were told today that this is the largest soul gem on the prime material plane, you wouldn't question that for a second. This thing is probably a foot across and 2 to 3 feet tall, whereas a soul gem usually would be something you can fit in your hand. Hestia, to
That is a
answer your
fair
question. Oh, go
explanation.
ahead. Hestia, as
yeah.
as per your previous question, you would be able to potentially use dispel magic on the barrier to try and drop it.
She did, I think. I think she cast it. I don't
Yeah,
think
if
she
I
did the
can do that,
DC.
that'd be great.
Yeah. So utilizing your key, you are able to remove the enchantment, keeping you away from the gem. You're able to get close to it. However, as you are examining the soul gem itself, you don't know a way to extract the souls from it. And the more that you look at it, both from a physical, magical, and a spiritual level, actually give me a perception check. Let's see what you're able to get from this.
Okay. Sorry, I always forget where perception check is. It's in
You're
my
good.
skills.
I mean, it's also on your front page. You can just double click it right there. Okay, so with a 29, as you're looking at this with your spiritual eyes, you're able to see that the material of the soul gem itself is actually fortified by the souls within it. And even if you could break it, it might actually damage or destroy the souls as well. And you don't know of a way to extract them, at least not safely.
Oh, Jasper, you said you could do something. If you can, please do it.
What difficulty did you encounter?
Well, I think from what I understand, DM, just that if we dispel, if we break the soul gem, we break the spirits inside. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
That all makes That makes too much sense, given how a soul gem this big could exist. Also, it seems to be what Cohen's work has always been about. If there... If it were possible to both release the souls
Go ahead and make an intelligence check, Jake.
Could you roll that for me, please?
Yeah.
If it were possible to release every one of those souls, then that could relinquish them while keeping them from the harmful effect of separating them from the crystal, given that they are the power source for the soul gem, I should say. All right, what did I roll for intelligence?
A 10.
Yeah.
I'm sending you the only hint that I will give you at this point. Everything else that we've talked about you are aware of. I will leave you to deduce how and if those pieces can be put together.
So Jasper will at least attempt. He'll pull out the skull, the one from the vault, and he will... Actually, does Jasper still have the other skull?
Which other one? I'm trying to remember. Oh, the one that you've been using from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely do. So, what is it you do?
So Jasper will ask Calistan to hold the lead line hats with Cohen inside.
Oh, I thought you were going to hand him the skull. I was like, ooh, we're going to have a fun party now. Okay, sorry. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'll hold the hat.
Hats. But Jasper will say, if I will try to do this, but I will stop if I feel that I will do so unsuccessfully. So he'll just use the skull from Faraz, from the vault, and he will attempt to loosen the threads, to untie the threads of these souls without harming them.
As you try to do this, you can feel the potential. You can tell that you have the right tool for the job. But as you are attempting this, you don't feel like you're able to properly attune yourself to the skull. There's something holding it back, holding you back.
Jasper, he lets go of his attempt. He looks to Hestia and says, I think there's something left for me to do before I can perform this task. You have saved me. Let me do something, and I will save your son. I owe you that.
I wipe a tear from my eye. Thank you, Jasper.
Sin, I need to atone.
How so?
Jasper pulls out another skull. A skull with coins in its eye sockets. I've used this. Fortunately, not an innumerable amount of times, but I would have. It was in my heart to do so. And by relinquishing this, I will be able to make amends and reconnect with Pharasma. I assume that's what needs to be done. To fully attune to this and all that it can offer me, I need to rekindle that connection, that communion with her. Do you have the means to assist me in this atonement?
I can do what I can.
So I'm going to step in for just a moment. With respect to this, I know we've talked about as we're slowly transitioning, or as we're going to be transitioning into Pathfinder 2, I'm going to treat this like the rituals in Pathfinder 2. Sin, you will be able to lead the ritual for atonement. You will need other people, or you can have other people assist you, though you won't need that. But you will be able to, right here in Cohen Sanctum, you can do that ritual for atonement.
Okay. What I do is I make a curved cut in my hand. I take blood and I take a knife and carve into my hand the symbol of Pharasma, and then start to draw with my own blood a spiral around the two of us and begin the ritual.
Jasper will be holding the skulls in his hand, the one from Pharasma in his right, and the one with the coins in his left.
Does anybody else take part in this ritual? Is anybody else helping?
Do they need help? And what can possibly help the ritual? You know what? Prince is just going to play some music to accompany.
Perfect.
Just
Love
set
it.
the tone.
Yes, I'm going to set the tone for this. I'm going to bring out the silver violin and do a string performance.
I'll help pray to Pharasma.
Maleth or Calistan, are either of you going to participate in any way?
I will help.
What will you do?
I'm not sure how I can, but
Calistan?
I'll help if
Okay.
possible.
What I'd like to know, I'm not going to have anyone roll any checks for this. I'd like to know what each of you is going to do in response to this whole situation, whether to help or observe. So, Maleth,
Well, I mean, I guess I would
go ahead,
ask,
Caliscan.
is there anything I can do to help?
Yeah, Maleth would do the same thing.
I think, Calistan, that your mere presence for someone as nobly independent of the gods as you are, I think that you simply being here would be enough of a token to appease Pharasma. Maleth, if you're inclined, I think prayer, song, or even your just perhaps the thoughts that you had as you were undead and that desire to be out of that undead prison back to your living form again, perhaps that energy would be sufficient as well. I cannot say I've never really done anything like this myself, though I know about it.
I'll try focusing on those sentiments and see if that helps in any way.
Thank
I
you all.
understand.
Okay,
So Jasper is doing this, right?
Yes, Sin is leading the ritual, and Jasper is assisting, or is the target of it and assisting with it.
And there's solemn violin music going on.
Okay. All right, Jasper. The ritual is in your hands between
Hit him with a
you and
guidance.
Sin. Please describe to me what you are doing, and we can kind of bounce back between the two of you since you're the primary participants. And on your end, for this atonement, it will need to be verbal. So all present will hear what you say and do.
All right.
And Sin, if you want to jump in, if you're going to do anything, let me know, and then I will jump in as necessary, if necessary.
The only thing that I was going to add is that all of my Skelebros and Wrath are just kind of setting up incense around the room, and in a very much a contrast to how everything else is going.
So Jasper will begin, and he's still holding both skulls in his hands. And he will start by speaking in Draconic. So if you understand Draconic, you will understand this first part. But he says, "The Lady of Graves, the Lady of Mysteries, the Mother of Souls, the Grey Lady and the Survivor. I invoke thee for an atonement of my gravest transgressions." And at that, Jasper places down the skull in his left hand, the one with the coins, and he grabs with that hand a silver dagger, which is a symbol of Pharasma. I have fled, and he's speaking in common now. I have fled far too long from responsibility, from I have fled from your mysteries. I have caused what I fear may be the eternal annihilation of 2 souls And I would have done so to myself and many more. I don't believe that what I've done can be forgiven. For how could you repay for causing eternal death? The very thing which you seek to prevent. But I stand now before you, resolute, and promise. And as Jasper says this, he takes the dagger and he carves, as painful as it may look, on the back of his hand, carves the symbol of Pharasma and lets the blood drip through his fingertips onto the skull which he's holding. I promise that I will seek to serve you for whatever it's worth. I will make it my mission to restore that my fight against the undead, which my family and my blood has been sworn to, it will not be a fight of vengeance, but a fight of seeking to continue this cycle of souls which you intently preserve. If you are willing, I will be your dagger. And with that, Jasper places the skull from the vault down at his feet. And he will take the dagger in his hand and he will strike at the skull with the coins in its sockets.
As you bring the knife down, for a moment it's as if the skull itself were made of liquid. The knife penetrates it, and through the eyes of the skull behind the coins, you see light begin to emerge. You hear the wailing of the damned, and then the skull melts at your feet, leaving only a puddle of black ooze.
Damn you, Abaddon, and your filthy design. I will be a slave to it no more. Even if I make myself servant to a cosmic circle and cycle of souls, better that than what I had foolishly chosen, and thus betrayed the lady that the Bazadi line long served. I will rightfully lay claim to my namesake again, even if somewhat shamefully, for what I have done and cannot undo. I will be a responsible vessel and not a broken man. And then Jasper sheds a single tear. And picks up the skull Not the broken one, but the one remaining.
Sin, as all of this is happening, you feel a deep connection to Pharasma. And as all of this is going on, you peek a little bit behind the veil, so to speak. And you have a realization as you're watching Jasper make his atonement with Pharasma. An atonement that until recently you didn't necessarily realize was necessary. But as you are hearing now, it seems that it always had been. You realize something that you had grown up understanding and believing, that perhaps is not quite what you thought. So many of those of your order who gave their lives, their souls, to perform what you are doing, and you knew them to be lost to Pharasma because of what they had done, all except your mentor. You realize now why that was. You realize that the call, the necromancy that you use on a day-to-day basis, it pulls at you, invites you to give into it. And that only one who does give into it becomes lost. And that you are not necessarily lost, simply for doing what you are doing. And that Wrath is not necessarily lost if he does not give in to the temptation and you think that is what protected your mentor. Is that much like Jasper has forsaken the path he had chosen, your mentor did not follow that path when it was offered. And that you yourself don't need to follow that path just because you were using that power.
Sin is just thoughtful as he sees this happen, and after it concludes, he just kind of sits there idly, rubbing the similar marking in his own hand that he carved in order to perform the ritual.
Thank you all.
Jasper, the hole within you from the night before has been vacuous and ever present in your mind and in your soul for the past hours. But as the ritual completes, you feel that void filled.
I don't know what it entails, but I wouldn't say it means forgiveness, but I do feel reconnected. And so long as I have that connection, I know that I have all the more power to aid in something good, in something beyond my normal capacities, that even though I'm a wretched man, but a little less, maybe a lot less wretched now. I can do this. I can I can break the tie of these souls to this soul gem. I feel it. So Jasper will go ahead and turn to that soul gem and present the skull to it and loosen those threads.
As you reach out now, you feel a deeper connection to the skull and to Pharasma than you have ever. I mean, to Pharasma ever. And to the skull, you feel like you're now able to utilize what it is, and you recognize the connection that it innately has to Pharasma. As you reach out to the soul gem, you're able to identify the different threads of the souls that are woven into it. And you can tell that it will take time to remove them all, but you're able to pick them apart. And you start with those that you recognize, that seem honestly to be pulled to the front by the presence of those who they seem to care about. And as you are reaching out, you can actually feel a connection even to those souls. And so first and foremost, you pull out the soul of Hestia's son. And as you do so, it feels as if it is drawn towards a part of the wall that until now you hadn't paid attention to. But as you walk over to it, you see a latch. The wall opens, revealing several bodies. One of them is a small boy who looks vaguely like Hestia. And as you let go of the soul, so to speak, you can feel it zipping right over to the body. And the boy takes a deep breath, gasping as air enters his lungs again. Hestia, your son stumbles out of the wall.
I pick him up and I hold him tight. And I say, "You're here. Good. I've missed you."
Next, and Sin, if you can help me with the name, I can't quite recall, and I don't want
You're
to
good.
look it up. The next one that you pull out, Jasper, go ahead and tell
Yep.
us, Sin, what you feel.
Helena.
Or, okay, Helena. So you
Yep.
you innately know the name as you pull the soul out, Jasper. Helena, and you feel her being pulled, rather than towards one of the bodies, towards Sin. Sin, what is it that Jasper's going to feel from Helena?
You're going to feel an immense amount of wisdom and warmth. Kind of like that grandmotherly figure, but almost there's mixed with it is also a tinge of, for lack of a better term, severity. There's an element of order to her that comes with it. That grandmother that taught you to work because she knew that it would be helpful for you in the future. But in the end, there is an element of kindness and warmth that pervades all that. There's also a bit of youth to it, but not in the sense of someone who is young, but potentially someone who is young at heart. As you feel that, Sin would he feels numb, and you can see that he accepts the soul as it comes to him, and there's a symbol of Pharasma, essentially in the shape of a diamond around his, on a necklace on his neck, and the soul would go into the necklace, and there's almost a bittersweet longing that kind of is there, and it intensifies this almost sense of numbing that Sin feels.
After you pull Helena out, the next one that calls to you right now is a woman. And same boat for you, Caliston. Is it Seraph?
Yeah.
The name that comes to your mind, Jasper, is Seraph, and as you pull the soul out again, you feel it pull towards one of the bodies in that wall. And as the soul enters the body and she gasps for breath, Caliston, you see your wife stumble forward.
I run up and give her a hug.
Cal, she says, it was so dark. More than I've ever seen before. Thank you for saving me. It feels like it's been forever.
You're here now. Don't worry about it. There was here too.
She nods.
Oh, and I think you'll be happy to see this. And I give her her moonblade back.
She gingerly takes it back. Thank you. Thank you, Cal.
Still think you remember how to use that? I say with a smile.
She kind of shakes her arm and says, I think I'll need some time to recover first.
We have time.
She nods, and leaning on you for support, she just takes a breath and stands there with you.
And then while everything else is going on, I'll just appraise her of what's been happening and everything like that, get her caught up to speed with everything that's gone on with me and the party.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Right, Jasper, it'll probably take you a fair amount of time to extract the rest of the souls from here. But I will say that for now, you've gotten the ones out that need to get out right now, and you have time to do the rest as you have space and the spare moments in the future.
Good. I'll let the party know just that. This will take time. If we have to, we may need to revisit this.
You can take the gemstone with you, though. The soul gem.
That thing is big. That's a big daddy soul gem.
After the ritual, Prince is gonna stop playing the music, obviously, and he's gonna go over to the hats that contain the worm, and he's gonna start talking to it.
It will not talk back, for clarity. So
yeah, I'm aware. But he's going to Prince is going to apologize for deceiving Cohen like that. and I don't have to do it now, but I'm going to try to do some diplomacy checks later on. But anyways, continue your heartwarming. That's what Prince is doing while you guys are. He's apologizing.
Okay, I think that's the only connections anyone has to this soul gem. So I think that actually is where we will call it for the night.
Can Hestia just be spending the rest of her time helping the souls come back and adjust?
Yeah,
maybe?
most of the souls in here, Jasper, you would know as you pull them out that their bodies are not here. They're long dead at this point, most of them. And so between you and
Yeah.
Hestia, Hestia would be able to assist you after you've extracted them from the soul gem to effectively usher them on towards Pharasma.
I appreciate all the help.
Okay, we
Guys,
will
we did
discuss
it.
whether or not we will have game next week, Jasper, since you will be gone. But we will call this here. Thank you to our viewers who've joined us. Until next time, we bid to you adieu.
Okay.